So welcome, Sujatha. Lovely to have you here today. My name is Susanna and I'm the VP of Agency Partnerships at InMobi across APAC. I'm really excited today to have this discussion with you because I think it's one of the most hot topics since COVID. What does diversity, equity and inclusion mean to companies today? And Sujatha, you have a very important role in the space as the Chief People Officer at EssenceMediacom across APAC. You come with a wealth of experience in this space. You've been in the industry for quite some time. So I'd love to hear today, really, how has that journey been so far for you? And how is your experience shaping up in EssenceMediacom?
Thank you, Susanna. Lovely to be here as well. It's a very interesting question, and I think I want to start off with how this question is posed to me by my family and friends. So when they ask me, what's your profession? And I share that I'm in human resources, their immediate response is, so you do recruitment? While it is not an incorrect assumption, it does not tell the full story of the HR professional. The role of HR has evolved over the years, and HR leaders are seen as key business partners to leaders in shaping the talent strategy aligned with the business needs to help grow revenue. Now, having been involved in setting up offices in Southeast Asia, building a HR team from scratch, and immersed in mergers has given me the opportunity to build a strong HR foundation. I also have the opportunity to be deeply plugged into business meetings, working partnerships with business leaders to shape the future of the business, but by ensuring that the talent agenda is aligned with the business priorities. Now, we've heard this saying, change is the new constant, and I could attribute my learning and growth as a HR professional and leader to all the changes that I had to go through, staying solution-focused and embrace the change with an open mind. There's another aspect that I really enjoy, which is managing a team of HR professionals throughout my career. It has been the most fulfilling. Seeing them grow in their careers, making an impact to their stakeholders gets me to a happy place. I actually find joy in creating opportunities for my team members and the ambition of making them more successful than me, which is why I'm a firm believer of knowledge sharing, and it is my way of giving back. Now, all of these experiences enable me to support the EssenceMediacom vision, which is to deliver breakthrough for brands in the new communications economy. Our promise to clients, in return, our promise to our people to create an environment where they can learn, grow, and unlock their potential. People should not have to fit, but they feel they belong to EssenceMediacom. Now, I could say that this year has been extremely exciting and challenging for our people with the coming together of EssenceMediacom. So my role is dedicated to managing change with the well-being of our people in mind. Now, one key takeaway I can share in change management is that we have to create the channels and opportunities for our people to be able to share their feedback, be it positive or pain points. At the same time, hear their suggestions, which is the reason why we have the People Voice Forum in EssenceMediacom. This group has been very instrumental in supporting the leadership in reviewing plans and providing suggestions on what works all the way to a communication strategy. So I would say that in today's dynamic and rapidly evolving business landscape, change management is continuous, not just a strategic choice, it's an imperative.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head, the change management, because things are changing so fast in this industry today. And it's really great to hear your dedication and your passion really for the job role that you're doing. You can really see that, you're really passionate about making sure that people feel very included inside of EssenceMediacom. You alluded to the merger, the change that you had, I think 1 year ago. Please share with us, if you can, really, what efforts, and you mentioned some initiatives, but what efforts have you been doing in creating the EssenceMediacom culture?
Great question. And I think it's an important one because everybody's talking about culture now. And culture is a big part of who we are in EssenceMediacom and how we show up at work and with our clients as essentials is defined by our culture principles. So beginning of this year, we had launched 6 EssenceMediacom culture principles globally. I can briefly share what they are. Learn every day. Take pride in continuously developing both craft and knowledge. Build better together. It's about collaboration, how to embrace collaboration and follow through on our commitments to each other. The next one, always include. Create an environment where people feel safe to speak and be heard. Celebrate every success. Appreciate every moment. This is about praising those who have tried and share learnings widely. Next, seek help gladly. Offer help generously. Don't walk by. Personally take care of it. Bring the right people together to solve it. And the last one is relentlessly pursue breakthrough. This is about creating an environment where ideas can come from anywhere, breed innovation, and allow people to make mistakes, own, and rise from it. Now, these culture principles were the voices of our own people and the definition of the smell of the place or the smell of EssenceMediacom. There is empowerment and ownership for each market on how they want to bring all these culture principles to life and embed them in their markets based on what works for them. So I can share some examples of how we are embedding these culture principles.
Yeah.
So I'll talk a little bit about our always include culture principle. This is really to promote and foster an inclusive culture. So in September this year, we celebrated the Always Include Week globally, and we organized webinars on how women rise and Microsoft accessibility tip session for all essentials globally.
Okay.
And our aim is we want to create an inclusive culture where everyone feels they belong, has a voice which is heard. So we are constantly looking at ways we can upskill and educate our leaders and our colleagues on inclusion topics. In the Singapore office, we have an hour in the week dedicated to learning, with the aim of bringing to life our Learn Everyday culture principle. So during these sessions, we cover topics on technical skills, as well as areas on diversity and inclusion, cultural awareness, and mental health. The other culture principle that I personally like is celebrating every success, appreciate every experiment. I feel like as we chase after goals and results, at times we actually miss celebrating success as well as failure.
Yeah.
Even the smallest achievements, when we recognize it, it actually has a huge impact on our people's engagement and motivation. So we make it a point to do what we call shout out to individuals who have showcased a culture principle, either while interacting with the colleague, clients, or even our partners. In doing so, we want to recognize great work and also give recognition to those who have tried something but didn't work. But we still want to continue encouraging innovative thinking. Now, I want to acknowledge that culture takes time to build. So which is why the leaders and people managers in EssenceMediacom, they play an instrumental role in leading these culture principles. The need to role model and continue to embed them in their day-to-day interactions with their own team. I can also share another part which actually defines EssenceMediacom's culture, and it's our commitment to our people in mental health and well-being. So in EssenceMediacom, we have what we call the Global Wellbeing Allies. They are actually our own employees who volunteer to be trained to support others with their mental health. They learn about the fundamentals of mental health, what it is and what it is not, how to listen without judgment, how to point people to the correct services and resources, and how to help keep people safe. So what the volunteers, what they go through is a 2-day training program, and upon completion, the participants are certified as Wellbeing Allies. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that because they are all global allies, they are accessible to any essential sitting in any part of the world. Another thing that we do around mental health and well-being is in the month of October, which is this month, we actually, with the aim of raising awareness on mental health, we launch Wellbeing Stories. So a storytelling campaign where the senior leaders of the business actually shared their personal experience on what they went through and the steps they took to overcome their own challenges. As leaders, we need to role model and encourage our people to have open discussions about mental health. So we strive to create a culture where employees feel comfortable talking about their experience without fear of judgment or stigma, and have psychological safety in seeking support. I would say that we have to normalize conversations about mental health. Our people's energy is the greatest asset for us to achieve our vision. So it will always be a top priority for us to continue our effort to look after our employees' well-being.
And it's amazing to hear actually that Essence MediaCom is really prioritizing this. It sounds like not on just an annual basis, but more of a weekly basis, from what I'm hearing. And thank you for sharing some of the processes that you've said and the initiatives you've put in place. And it's lovely to hear that, you know, as you said, it's really important that leaders within organizations are taking that stance and making it really personal and personable. I think human to human understanding about how someone's, you know, personally is experiencing this themselves is really important. Having worked in the advertising industry myself for quite some time as well, I am fully aware, though, that this industry can move at a very fast pace, as you mentioned, and change is always happening. And what sometimes comes with that is very packed schedules, busy lifestyles, long hours. So it's great that, I mean, Essence MediaCom is doing a lot of these initiatives to really bring it into the day-to-day, you know, lives of all of their employees. But I'd love to understand what you're doing more to ensure that people don't miss out on the empathy while chasing this efficiency, because obviously when it comes down to it, it is a business.
Okay. I'll probably answer this question from a perspective of what leaders can actually do to really address this. And I'll share it from my point of view of what I personally do as a leader and what's something that we also expect our leaders to be very mindful of. Yes. Firstly, as a manager or leader, we have to create a safe and non-judgmental space for our teams to discuss, you know, their mental health concerns. Encourage open and honest communication, actively listen to their needs, and be approachable and empathetic when they seek support. I feel like this is the first step to build trust and provide the opportunity for the individual to open up with no judgments made, which is why my earlier point about leaders actually role modeling their own challenges and how they overcome it is really that confirmation to our employees that we are here to support them. And the second point goes back to the culture principle that I shared, which is always include. As leaders, we are so inclined to like charge forward at the speed of maybe 260 kilometers per hour. But in the process of doing this, we have to actually stop and check if everyone is in the bus with you or is someone struggling to catch up. Over the years, I would say this is a lesson I personally learned, that every individual has different needs. Some might need additional support, and that's equity, ensuring that everyone has a fair chance to succeed, taking into account their unique circumstances.
Yeah.
Happiness scale, this is my personal favorite, and I use it at times. So one question I ask my team members is, from a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being high, how happy are you? What's stopping you from achieving complete happiness? Now, I find this a very powerful question, as it allows one to actually discover barriers and limitations, but more importantly, what they need to do to move that scale closer to 10, and what support is required from the company or I witnessed happy individuals having higher levels of resilience and coping skills, enabling them to actually navigate challenges more effectively. Now, I acknowledge that happiness is it is very complex and it varies from person to person. What brings happiness to one individual may differ from another. However, the overall benefits of happiness highlight its significance in promoting well-being, success, and positive social outcomes. Now, the other point that it's my own way of how I actually describe to be an authentic leader. Now, we've heard the saying, be an authentic leader. I want to give a twist to this thinking. If my authentic self as a leader is causing stress to my team members, I should take a stock take of what authentic behaviors of mine is causing that stress to the other individual. It could be how I speak or words I use. So based on that, I have to be flexible and adapt accordingly so that my authentic self is not causing stress to another. So a lot of this I would say that are things that as leaders in EssenceMediacom, we are very mindful of as well. I think there's one word that as a leadership team, we keep asking ourselves, duty of care. Have we given this to our employees, our people, and our team members? And I suppose I will kind of say that this is so important, especially in our world where everything is fast. And to my earlier point of we're chasing goals and results, stop, check, if your employees are engaged, motivated, and with you in the journey.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. What's really nice, the words you're using is like really personable, putting leaders in the place of other people's lives and shoes to understand really what they're going through and recognizing that people are different, I think. Not everyone is the same. And so what might be happy for one person may not be happy for another. I think it's really great that you're going right down to that level. We've heard you speak really beautifully today about the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And you've done multiple events as well where I've heard you talk as well. We actually fondly remember that we worked together with you because InMobi we've been working with EssenceMediacom for some time in this space. In the Women's Day this year, we even actually celebrated that together. How do you translate these DEI values that you're talking about that EssenceMediacom has, your leadership has, and the company as a whole, as a culture has, into simple, actionable principles for employees to understand? Because, I mean, this is great. You've got loads of initiatives that you're doing. You're empowering your leaders to actually have this into their day-to-day being with their employees. But how do you translate that to every employee throughout EssenceMediacom and help them follow it in their daily lives?
So I'll probably share a little bit around what we are doing on the education and training, because I do think that's the first step because it's about awareness. So DEI has been embedded in our people development program, and it includes topics such as unconscious bias and inclusive leadership to train our leaders and people managers on how to create an inclusive work environment, lead diverse teams effectively, and leverage the strengths of each team member. Topics actually include inclusive decision-making, managing diverse perspectives, and fostering psychological safety. Now, in terms of how do we bring that to life as well, there should be clear outcomes coming from these training programs as well, or whatever external exposure that we give to our employees. So for our women colleagues who attended programs to enhance their public speaking skills, we have given them the opportunity to present in town halls and other key meetings. We kept our promise to give them a voice, and we will continue to encourage their participation in potentially giving them the chance to represent EssenceMediacom as speakers in external events. And then if I can give another example, like while we are preparing for a client pitch or deciding resource allocation for projects, we make a conscious effort to ensure we have diverse profiles in the team makeup. The other thing that we're looking at is rolling out an allyship training to all essentials next year. And this is really about making sure that all essentials have a say in terms of how they want to be included and how can they stand up for another essential if they see something that's not right in the business as well. Now, I spoke about our always include culture principle. I will circle this back to leadership because it starts from the top. It is critical for our leaders to role model inclusive behavior, actively promote diversity and inclusion. We know culture starts from the top and leadership sets the tone. And this is an expectation from our leaders in EssenceMediacom. So I would say that it's a journey, and it starts from the top all the way to our people managers. And once our people actually see leaders and people managers role modeling, it will naturally become the behavior of an organization.
Thank you so much. And fully aligned on everything you're saying today. I think it does come from leadership. I think it's really important that the leaders are setting a precedence. And it's great to hear that you're putting that at the heart of a lot of your initiatives. And I loved the allyship program that you said you've set up. I'd love to hear more of that in another time. I think that wraps up today, our interview. And thank you so much, Sujatha, for sharing as much of what EssenceMediacom is prioritizing. I think it's very apparent that you are prioritizing this as one of your most important subject matters to how the company is the essence of actual EssenceMediacom and the culture. And thank you for sharing some of the initiatives that you're doing to actually build this so that it's part of the DNA of EssenceMediacom. I look forward to talking to you further on this, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Susanna. Thank you very much.